Hey yo, football fans, it's another great year. Fantasy football fiends, grab your beer. Giving you the best draft tips for all your picks. Starts and sits to the waiver wire fix. From mock drafts galore to stats that's hardcore. Triple F does it all, have y'all screaming more. So sit back, relax, let the experts prevail. JT Magnum, Siggy Guns never fail. What's up, fantasy football fans? My name is JT Magnum here along with Siggy Guns. Welcome back to Fantasy Football Fiends. This is the top 30 wide receiver rankings for this year, 2016 fantasy football. And we're going to get right into it, folks. Number 30 for me is Larry Fitzgerald, Devontae Parker, Julian Edelman, Emmanuel Sanders, Randall Cobb, Eric Decker, Josh Gordon, Golden Tate, Jeremy Maclin, and Sammy Watkins. And I'll talk about Sammy Watkins. Here's a guy that had 1,000 yards somehow last year. He just seemed like he was getting so much slack for being like, you know, like to be able to put more production, but he still got 1,000 yards and a few touchdowns, and he was a decent wide receiver, I thought at least. But he's a guy poised to probably get a more of a breakout season this year. I don't see him as getting like Josh Gordon type of numbers when he first came out, but I see him as getting high production numbers, meaning over 1,000 yards. He's probably going to still be around the 7 or 8 touchdown range. That's why I have him at number 21. But he's a guy that can be very productive and an extreme like matchup nightmare for a lot of corners and especially for safeties. He's really fast, really quick. He runs a lot of slants and stuff like that. Not afraid to go over the middle as well. He's on the big side for a wide receiver, and he can also catch over people. So I'm a fan of Sammy Watkins a little bit, but at the same time, you also got to remember that Greg Roman offense is more run-oriented. They don't pass the ball as much, and they also have Tyrod Taylor throwing, who's not afraid to throw the deep ball on occasion. So, and with the Greg Roman offense, you don't get the deep ball as much, but when you have a guy like Sammy Watkins, you got to give it to him. You got to give it to him when he's open deep, especially if he's one-on-one coverage. You can jump up and get the ball. So who's your 30 through 21?
30-21, I got Sterling Shepard, Stephon Diggs, Larry Fitzgerald, Tavon Austin, Tyler Lockett, Torrey Smith, Emmanuel Sanders, John Brown, and Kelvin Benjamin. And do I have one more? Oh, one more, Jeremy Maclin. And I'm going to talk about Larry Fitzgerald because I have him pretty low. This is somebody that when you picked him up last year, he had a great season. I mean, that was top 15, right? I mean, at least.
Yeah,
some weeks he was one of the top 5 wide receivers. But I have him pretty low this time, and if he hasn't been drafting well as far as average draft position in mock drafts and stuff like that. I think a lot more people are starting to think that John Brown is the one that's going to get more looks. You know, he's the younger, faster guy. I think in this offense with David, Johnson running the ball, I think they're going to be more of a balanced team. It's not going to be Carson Palmer throwing 4,500 plus this time around. Even though Bruce Arians' offense is, one that likes to throw a lot, I do think, though, he recognizes that he's going to want a David Johnson heavy-oriented offense this time around. At least that's what it looks like. And I think he's more trying to adapt to, the changes that everybody's doing, to counteract some of the stuff with this pass-heavy league. So Larry Fitzgerald's production, I think, is going to be a little lower. I don't think he's going to have that season he had last year. I think he's still going to be very good. He's going to be more of a Pierre Garçon type, possession receiver, third down receiver. I don't see him, though, being the main guy around the red zone. So that's the reason why I have him so low.
Cool. I have from 20 through 11, Michael Floyd, Larry Fitzgerald's obvious teammate, Kelvin Benjamin, T.Y. Hilton, Keenan Allen, Demaryius Thomas, Jarvis Landry, Brandon Cooks, Jordy Nelson at 13, Mike Evans, and Doug Baldwin at number 11. I'll talk about Doug Baldwin. He's a guy that a lot of people they dropped him. They think he's not going to have the same year as last year, but I see him as just reliable. He's Russell Wilson's go-to guy all the time. And I know Tyler Lockett's there, but Tyler Lockett's more of the guy that's going to get those quick screens and things like that. But Doug Baldwin is the guy that's always the possession receiver. So I think he's going to have more catches. I think he's going to have more yards than last year. I don't think he's going to have 14 touchdowns, but I think he's still going to get double-digit touchdowns, meaning like maybe 10 or 11, but he's going to have more yards and more catches. Therefore, I have him ranked at number 11 this year. I think he was maybe in the top 10 last year in wide receiving and receiving stats for fantasy football last year. He came out of the scene, especially the last few weeks of a season when he was getting touchdown after touchdown, and he was just killing it. He had like a 3-touchdown game. I remember that, but He's the guy that, like I said, is Russell Wilson's backbone. He's the guy that Russell Wilson trusts. He'll throw it up to him at any time. The guy just goes up and get it. Doesn't drop many balls. I know
we have a bet. We have a running bet with Baldwin, right? So
yes, we do. Every year we have something when it comes to a player. So
mine is T.Y. Hilton, Golden Tate, Julian Edelman, Demaryius Thomas, Sammy Watkins, Jarvis Landry, Brandon Cooks, Jordy Nelson, Alshon Jeffries, and Amari Cooper. Some good names in the top 20. Demaryius Thomas, this is somebody that everybody picked probably top 5 last year also. So I'm going to talk about why I have him so low. There's no quarterback in Denver right now. Mark Sanchez is not going to get it done. And then their starter, they just newly anointed, I don't even know, Simon? I don't even know how to say his name. It's spelled weird. But like I said, he's just, man, the Denver offense just does not look like it's going to be good this year. And Demaryius Thomas struggled last year with Peyton Manning and Osweiler. I don't know if he had good touchdown production, I think, right? He had like 11 or 12, something like that.
Demaryius Thomas, I forgot how many he had last year.
It just didn't feel like if you had him on your team, it didn't feel like he warranted a top 10 pick. And I think now with no quarterback really throwing at him as well, I think Emmanuel Sanders is still the guy that's going to get most of the targets. I think Thomas's role is going to be more of, hey, look for me on third down, look for me in the end zone. You know, he's a big receiver, big body receiver. You know, those are the ones that they usually look for in the clutch and things like that. But with Denver's offense looking pretty, weak on paper, their defense obviously still looks good, but with their offense not as strong, I think Thomas's production is going to take even more of a hit than last year. Yeah,
Thomas had 6 touchdowns last year compared to 10, 14, and 11 the years before. All double-digit touchdowns to 6 last year. But he still had 1,300 yards receiving and 100 catches. I don't know how, but it didn't feel like it, like you said. But he still, he definitely dropped off.
I just don't see that production. He won't have it.
No, I don't see that either. Not with Trevor Siemian. I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't see it either.
Maybe if Paxton Lynch was playing, I'd see it because Paxton Lynch is just going to chuck it. But Trevor Siemian, I'd see him as careful. So
that's true.
I don't see
Check
it.
down. So who's the tight end there? That might be the guy.
I forgot who the tight end is there now. That team is just so dismantled. I don't even know really who's on their team anymore. It's crazy.
At this point, Kaepernick. At this point,
I
if I'm
can't even believe a guy named Trevor
trying to go
Siemian
there.
is starting for Denver. I really thought they were going to trade or do something, but I mean, it was Mark Sanchez and Trevor Siemian. Like, I really thought Paxton Lynch was going to start, but apparently it's Siemian first. So we'll see.
I'm still wondering why RG3 is not in Denver. I want to know why he picked the Browns. I mean, that's the agent. His agent must be fired by now.
Maybe, I don't know. But my 10 through 1 is Alshon Jeffrey, Amari Cooper, Brandon Marshall, Des Bryant, Allen Robinson, AJ Green, DeAndre Hopkins, Odell Beckham Jr., Julio Jones, and Antonio Brown. And you could basically flip-flop those two at 1 and 2 because those are the 2 top receivers in the game. But we'll talk about Des Bryant because a lot of people now are dropping him, and it's because Tony Romo's now gone. Tony Romo was injured in the last game, and now Dak Prescott's the starter. He's a rookie, obviously. But if you watch the preseason games, Dak Prescott was not afraid to deliver that ball to Des Bryant. When you got a guy as big as Des Bryant that can get open, but when I mean get open, it means if he's covered, he's still open because the guy can just snatch the ball out of the air.
No, he can separate real good.
And he can, exactly. The guy makes plays. What makes you think he's still not going to be productive? Why wouldn't that guy throw his number 1 receiver? If anything, he's going to get more looks. He's going to get more touches. And the guy, because they're going to be keying so much on the run, daring Prescott to throw the ball up, that Des Bryant's going to have more free roam to move around, especially out there in the field. It's going to be, to me, he's going to be a much more productive wide receiver. So I have him at 7, and I had him at 7 from the beginning, even with Romo. So I'm leaving him right where he is. I'm not dropping him any bit, not even 1 bit with Dak Prescott in the game. I think it's if anything, he's going to be more productive. I just don't think he's going to be more productive than the other 6 guys I have ahead of him. But
I still have him as top 3. All right, so mine is Allen Robinson, Mike Evans, Keenan Allen, Brandon Marshall, DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Green, Odell Beckham, Des Bryant, and Julio Jones and Antonio Brown. And again, the reason why I still have him, I didn't drop him either because, one, the Cowboys have no other receiver. Terrence Williams isn't a threat. Witten might be the only one that Prescott would check down to. But you're right about the running game. As far as the offensive line is with the strength of the Cowboys is, so they're going to have to respect the run from whether it's Ezekiel Elliott, Alfred Morris, or even Prescott himself. He's shown that he can run too in preseason. So they're going to respect the run more so than the passing because there really is no other receiver aside from Dez Bryant. And then you make it to where if he is running the ball a lot, or the Cowboys, he's going to be throwing to Dez Bryant in the end no matter what. So, yeah, like I said, he's still going to have a very good season as long as he's healthy. But the main person I wanted to talk about was Keenan Allen. This is a guy that a lot of people are sleeping on because he's with the Chargers and he was hurt last year, so nobody really knows about him. But we talked about on the quarterback show, Phillip Rivers. This is someone that's throwing 4,500 yards every year no matter what. And there's always going to be a receiver aside from Antonio Gates, the tight end that's going to get 1,000 yards, it seems. And Keenan Allen's in a prime position to do everything. So, Gates is older. He's not going to be the main target. I think Allen is going to be in a position where you're going to see him get, especially in the points per reception league, he might be Julian Edelman, Dez Bryant hybrid at this point. He's going to have the receptions of Edelman and the targets of the end zone and looks of a Dez Bryant or Odell Beckham. So, he's going to have like an Antonio Bryant type of season, I imagine. So, Keenan Allen, fantasy-wise, sleeper, and I have him at 8. He should be up there. Watch.
Yeah, he's a PPR machine.
Yes.
Definitely. And the tight end for Denver, I looked it up real quick. It's Virgil Green. He's the guy.
Yeah, not going to have a chance.
And Garrett Graham, of course. So, Virgil Green, he's an okay tight end, but he's no Julius Thomas.
Yep.
So let us know in the comment section what you guys thought about our wide receiver rankings. Let us know if you feel we left anybody out, or if you feel we should, or if you like them, or let us know what you think, how we placed them. Feel free to leave your feedback in there, of course. And we don't have statisticians here. We're a one-man production team, production, editing, and everything. So all of our stats come from what we think and how we feel the season's going to go along, based on how we feel defenses are and how we feel players and schedule and ranks and things like that happen. We don't talk in complete stats. We don't have, like I said, a team of people just putting up on display in front of us so that we can read it off the teleprompters. We don't have that. We have we go as we feel. We talk how we see it, and that's just how Fantasy Football Fiends has always been. I think that's what makes us genuine. That's what makes you guys like us, and that's how I feel we're going to do in the future. So for Fantasy Football Fiends and JT Magnum, Siggy Guns, we out. Peace, y'all.
Peace.